I was happy because when I was given some time to talk, I said, I think all of you, I think you must be very careful because you don't have a job also. Now you must be the first one to be treated. So, but I don't know when people will have chance. I thought I must also tell you. So, I'm saying, all of us, let's not say, the minute you say this one, that means I'm saying me, I'm not part of it. We should stop pointing any other person. Let's be us working together. What can we do? And I'm happy that this meeting, from all the presenters, we are saying we want at the end of the day, because we can talk and have a talk show. We can talk and have good, nice blueprints, but in the dustbin. But we should convince those who make law. We must convince those who will discuss in cabinet. We must convince even those in the street, so that at the end of the day, we will have what we need. On behalf of my committee, our belief as a committee is that the devolution of authority, responsibility and accountability to the local levels of government is in the interest of effective delivery of basic services and development broadly, as well as deepening democracy and the culture of civic responsibility and participation in local development and other matters. I thank you. May the Lord bless you all.
Right, Marita, Honorable, thank you very much. So she underscores the importance for all of us to converge, to work together if we're going to be succeeding our agenda and devolution that we are talking about. I want us to do two things at the moment. One of them is to immediately react to Precious Shumba's presentation and also to react to Honorable Chukwa's presentation as well. And then thereafter, Tozo move up at Noti, okay, so in terms of the action plan, in terms of going forward, what are we going to be doing? So if honorable members, if you've got questions that are aimed at the presentation that was made earlier on by Precious, or you want to seek greater clarification, this would be an opportunity. Or any other colleagues as well from civil society, if you wanted to add, if you also want to pose questions as well, based on Honorable Chukwa's presentation, this would be a good time. Let's do that. Can I start with Honorable Markham, and then I'll come to Honorable
Thank you. I've got 2 points which I'd like to bring up, both probably on clarity. Yeah. The formation of clusters here. Roads is an infrastructure. You've got roads and infrastructure. My question is threefold. One, where do minibuses in the informal sector fill in this cluster section? Because they are a major part of the community. Second issue is, I would like to see a further cluster incorporating the functions of, not service, the functions of water, waste, wetlands and the environment. Because those are totally neglected by the cities and most rural councils. The other thing which should seek inclusion there is on the basic social structure services, we should include open spaces like sports facilities, etc. That's just a revamping of the structure thing. I'm a little bit uncomfortable that it doesn't cover those points. My last thing is more of a question. I see this document was presented to the 8th Parliament 4th session in 2016. Hence on page 6 you've got the deadline of 31st of January. I presume you did speak to Parliament at the time. And can I just ask, what has happened since you spoke to Parliament, and how close are we to that deadline that you gave on 31st of January 2019? Has anything happened, is the question.
Great, thank you very much. I sincerely hope, Precious, you're taking notes so that I'll take a quick round. Then Honorable Shako, and then I'll...
All right, thank you very much. Before I ask my question, just a quick recap.
Yeah.
What's your role, the organization's role in all this? What are you going to be doing? I mean, someone has asked us, I think it's asked the Royal Parliament chief. I want to know the Royal organization, what is it going to be before I ask my next question?
Okay, can I ask CCDZ and Harare Residents Trust to immediately react to that? Precious, would you want to come in?
Okay. Our role, you are here. We have created a platform for a conversation with the different stakeholders. So we are doing it on behalf of our constituents who are the members of the organization. We are membership-driven organizations, and the members are interested in the issues of devolution. So as we try to have that conversation, we are roping in academics, partner organizations to enrich the content of deliberations like we are doing right now. We have the members of parliament, we have the senators, we have civil society, we have academics. This conversation ensures that the issues of the citizens are represented at all levels. So in a sense, we advocate for the issues of the citizens to be brought to the attention of our House of Assembly representatives, our Parliamentary Portfolio Committee, so that when they handle them, they know that they have received submissions from citizens of Zimbabwe, because the Constitution empowers us to do that. And we are glad that you are participating, you are here, and we are sharing.
Yeah. So does that help? Creation of the platform to have the discussion.
Yes, it does help. But I'm then wondering about the name of this organization, Harare Resident Trust. Harare. What about Mapuche? Chiche Nambuya? Cholocho?
But we are talking of partner organizations. The Harare Residents Trust covers Harare Metro Province,
Right.
which is Harare, Chitungwiza, Epo, and Rua. But the CCDZ is a national organization.
That's where I was coming from now.
Okay.
Which is everybody represented here. Well, there's a tendency of you guys from Harare representing your interests and leaving us from Shoshe.
Okay, I think that is a genuine concern of all our platforms. When we invite the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on local government, we have invited Zimbabwe.
No, but the point is,
So our thrust at the present stage is to have this conversation where we operate. But other organizations like in Blawayo, you have Blawayo Progressive Residents Associations and Abakuk Trust. We have the Matebeleland Civil Society. They held a meeting with the president, but we were not there. But the president belongs to us all. So we can never be in the same space at the same time. But we are trying to drive the agenda of our members to say, bring these issues to those people who make policies, and you are the people. And that's why we say, when you go to Blawayo, you don't see us, but you see our partners in Blawayo.
So civil society is organizing itself in terms of collaborations and partnerships.
Exactly.
Like this particular meeting, Harare Residents Trust CCDZ.
Yeah.
CCDZ is the broader national sort of
It's
representation. While the Harare Residents Trust might have a focus around Harare, Metropolitan, Chitungwiza, Norton, you name it.
Yeah.
But the idea then of collaborations then helps. But that still does not discount anything, I think, away from the submissions. The issue of representation remains very critical. So even as civil society actors converge on these particular issues, the collaborative issues still come back. Do you want to immediately plug into this?
I want
Okay,
just
briefly,
to say to honorable member, maybe he
Chidakwa.
can assist.
Just remember Chidakwa.
Honorable Chidakwa.
Honorable Chidakwa. Right. Can you assist us? What is your suggestion? Perhaps you think that there is a better way that we can organize ourselves in order to be able to address the issues you are concerned about.
Yes. I come from a rural council background.
Yeah.
They've got their association,
Yeah.
which represents 6 rural councils, rural district councils.
Yeah.
I would think that that group should also be part of this, because they are directly affected by devolution. They've got their association. I was vice president of that association, right? I would think, for the sake of inclusivity,
Yeah.
right, those guys should be Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what I'm trying to avoid, Mr. Moderator, you are the MC, yeah? ED. What we're trying to avoid here,
Yeah.
we're starting a very good process here,
Yeah.
right? And let's avoid pitfalls.
Yeah.
One thing I've realized in my life in council, if there's no buy-in, Roma is not here.
Yeah.
You know, he would have told you. If there's no buy-in from all stakeholders, it doesn't change the Harare.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
You see,
Yeah.
change the Harare. In my education, will never associate with devolution.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Instead, I was talking about devolution in my constituency yesterday. But the point is, let's involve people like ARTCZ, right,
Yeah.
which represents the councils, so that they are also here to make their own input. But like right now,
Yeah.
there is already tension where the provincial councillor is now saying in a constituency, I've got my 10 councillors and my MP.
Yeah.
He is now in charge.
Yeah.
And you are now saying to us here, you want to remove us from the provincial council. I'm going to resist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I just add something?
All right.
Yes, you can.
I'll be coming to you, Honorable, just now. Yeah.
Okay. I'm Honorable Raita. Some of you may not know us.
Raita.
Raita, yeah, from Berengwa East.
Yeah.
We are not from Harare. The Hararians, we know them, you can see. What I can say is, what he's trying to say, that is the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
Because after all this talk that we are sharing here,
Yeah.
you expect us to take your advice into Parliament,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, the bill is coming to Parliament. We expected to debate it. But if our interests also, like what the lecturer was presenting, to say it's all about interests,
Yeah.
you know, it's all about interests. It's not all about whose interest. I am there to represent my people. That's my role. And I must make sure that their interests are protected.
That's
That's what he's saying.
That's
So
right.
for us to find each other, to have convergence,
Yeah.
it means we must balance
Those
the
interests,
interest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if we don't do that, you will be surprised that you give us all these good ideas and all this good presentation.
Yeah.
But when you get into Parliament, you don't hear me talking about them.
Yeah.
Why? Because they are not serving the interest of my people.
And his
Because
interest.
this devolution is there to help all of us.
Yeah.
So you heard that devolution is having different meanings to different people and different groups and whatever.
Yeah.
So to some groups it makes a lot of sense. To some groups
others
they
it
need to
doesn't.
feel, you know.
Yeah.
So we need to find one another.
Yeah.
So how do we find one another? We need to be all represented and have a national reflection in everything that we do. So that as
Absolutely.
parliamentarians we take it and go and debate. Otherwise, you find certain group of people in Parliament talking more about devolution, and you'll be wondering where are the writers who were there in the workshop. We expected them to talk, but I'll be quiet.
Yeah.
You know, those are some of the issues that we just want to.
Sure.
Just to support.
I
you,
want
Mr.
to
Chief. Thank you very much.
come to the Honorable. What I want to do now, I can see CRA, I can see CCDZ, I can see hands. Just hold on, colleagues, for a moment. Because what we also want to do is we're having this discussion. This is a critical action point already. We're already getting into the actual action planning and the way forward. The issue of inclusion, inclusivity, that we cannot afford to ignore. So the question then is, okay, as we are moving forward, what steps are we taking to ensure that there's a broader base of consultation in terms of, it could be our members, CCDZ, it could be collaborations with other interested organizations and interested parties in this. So I think this is a critical element that we need to capture. Can I come to you, sir, now, and then I'll jump straight back then to the colleagues, yeah.
Okay, thank you. It was a very constructive presentations and recommendations from the Harare Research Trust. Now my question is on the second recommendation that President and Deputy President of National Council Chiefs, as well as Senator Chiefs, must remain part of the provincial councils. The moment that they are elected into Parliament and into Senate, then it means they are part of the legislature. So if we are saying MPs should not be part of the provincial councils, yet those members of the traditional leaders who have become part of the legislation, what's the rationale of them being members of the provincial council? Yet their roles, they are now there, the 7 MPs and senators in general.
Yeah. Precious, I know you're itching to respond. Just hold on. I want to... Okay, all right, that's fine. All right, so maybe let me come here, and then I'll have Dave, and then I'll give Precious an opportunity to also respond. He's been lambasted for a bit. He speaks on behalf of the other colleagues as well. It's not specifically just HRT, because this is a common position. So even other colleagues will help to just support as well.
I think this may also be an action point. I agree with what Honorable Advocate is saying, what he was also talking about, the need for consensus and alliance building. Alliance building is where we bring all the concerned actors together, so that number one, we can have an understanding of what we want when we say we want devolution. Number two, we can be able to divide roles and responsibilities, to say, as civil society, this should be your role in what we are doing. As parliament, this is your role. As the different government ministries, this is your role. Because basically when we are talking about devolution, there are a lot of things that are involved. It's not just local government. It's Ministry of Finance, because there is need for fiscal devolution. There is need for devolution of power. Maybe even a need for devolution in terms of lawmaking. The degree of decision making in terms of making bylaws and so forth, in education. So there are a lot of things. But what is needed in terms of getting the basic principles of devolution, it's consensus and alliance building among all of us, not just Harare, but the whole country. So maybe as one of the action points is to say, where do we meet, where do we converge as the different actors that are interested? So, and also in terms of public outreach, so that even citizens also have the same understanding that we have, and that they can also be able to see the benefits. Because I can assure you, there is a significant number of citizens right now who also believe that devolution is a divisive initiative. You see, so that is very important in terms of now alliance building. How do we get the knowledge out there? How do we make sure that the government, the parliament, all of us, we are on the same wavelength in terms of what we want? Because if we start to disagree now, then we are not going anywhere. So the key action point here is coordination among civil society organizations, government, and also parliament, which is very important.
Thank you, my son. This is an important point. Let me come to Dave.
Right. I'm making reference, I think Honorable Malcolm said something about the timeline, 1st to 31st of January and so on and so on. But my feeling from all the devolution workshops that I've attended, my feeling is that the scope of devolution is being underestimated. And as a result, we may run with something and then find suddenly that there's an uproar where people are saying, this is not the devolution. Or government may even say, we have implemented it. And then people say, we can't see the devolution. So it might be critical, very critical. And I think when we talk about devolution, we also need to realize that we are talking about issues of security even. Because if in a very fluid situation, you know, of disturbances in the streets, people can take advantage of that. And you may end up with something that you don't want. So it then becomes very critical to put emphasis on structuring mechanisms, not rushing into these things, because the scope is bigger than what people are debating in their small little groups. So to put a committee, some kind of task force, which is appointed, whether it's by government, to sit down and be dedicated to looking into these issues, to give technical advice to the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee. Its terms of reference can be, put together, but certainly there's need, and that will bring the issues, all these other issues of coordination, cohesiveness, whatever is being talked about. But you need to assign somebody. As long as you can't point to somebody who's responsible for that, you won't get progress, the kind of progress you're talking about. Yeah. So there is really need for that. And I'm appealing to the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee to say, because all the issues that are being discussed at the moment are issues of content. However, the reason why people are not agreeing on content is because of process. So why don't we go to say, this is the process we should engage, and appoint somebody who's responsible for that process to unfold in a way that will give us the devolution that is actually in the Constitution, because that's the first reference point for our content. Yeah.
My concern, Dave, though, is I want to come to you, Honorable, before I get Precious to respond. Is I'm just thinking of a mechanism that seeks to operationalize issues around devolution. If this is going to happen outside maybe statutory terms of reference, how does it have enforcement power? Do you understand where I'm coming from? I'm concerned to say, if we have an operational mechanism that does not have the right kind of statutory strength to implement, to demand, to call to account.
We have the members of parliament here. Why don't they push for that? That's
okay, no, where I'm getting at is to say, does it mean then that the law should come before the process? Do you get where I'm coming from? Sorry? Yeah, so it becomes a chicken egg. Do you understand my concern? Do you get where I'm coming from, eh? Yeah. Because if I am part of enforcement or implementation of a process, but I don't have the right kind of mandate, that sort of thing, if it's going to be based on gentlemen's agreements, we will have a problem. Really, in terms of accountability, in terms of statutory enforcement. So I'm just trying to throw this right back.
It's been done in Kenya, it's been done in South Africa. So I'm not saying that I'm not engaging in the chicken and egg situation. I'm saying where there's a will, there's a way, because it's logical. It makes sense to say that I'm not.
No, we hear you, Dave. We hear you.
Law. I'm not saying don't have the law, but I'm saying that in that law, let's talk about those responsible institutions that we need to create to guide.
So now we're back to chicken and egg. Okay, so Honourable, let me just, because I want to then go back to Precious before Honourable James Chidakwa, before I come to you.
Thank you very much. Firstly, now, I think our chairperson has already thanked you for convening this platform.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, for you guys to think that we can find a solution or find a common ground on devolution, such a divisive and game-changing event in 4 hours, we can't do it.
It's not possible.
We need more time to deal with this. Number one.
I like this Secretariat action points. I hope you're getting a hint. Action points.
You can't. I mean, on a Friday morning, say, "But you, 1,000 lines we're going to I won't achieve. If we take this approach, we won't achieve anything. Number one. Number two. Politics is about power. All right. These provincial councils who have funding, $31 million. I, as the MP, will get CDF $50,000. If I were a clever provincial councillor in my constituency, you would take power from me. Because you build a bridge, and I can only build a track shop. Right? So if you now say, MPs, you are not part of this, I'll then start cracking my head with 2023, I'm just trying to throw you, I mean, without
Precious,
Precious. I mean, so then there's need of very fine balancing act to convince the parliamentarians from across the political divide, including my young brother Titaba. You will not want to get $1,000 more for somebody else, not him. And they will then say, we do know how politics works. So, I mean, we need to be very careful here.
All right. Colleagues from civil society, I'm going to park you for a moment because we're trying to create this space for our honorable MPs. So I'll have Honorable Chidakwa and then Madam Chair, and then I'll come to you, Honorable. Yeah. Tipe, my MPs, as we've wanted to do. Honorable.
I want to agree with my brother.
Yeah.
Should have some sort of legitimacy in that kind of thing. But I'm saying, attend that nation, considering we already at 2019.
Yeah.
You see, are we going to have that time let's understand politics
Yeah.
As much as South Africa and Kenya or wherever, but in our country, politics is totally different. So good to get society, engaged formal. I think we'll take another 5 years again. What we need to do then is to kickstart the process now as civil society. Like inclusivity. Let's have a multi-stakeholder, a platform which we take rural civil society organizations and the urban trust so that everyone is included. And when we keep the ball running, and again, don't stop us as a committee.
Yeah.
We also have the PEMSEX, we also have the minister. We want those people here, we discuss the issues, because also they implement. They must also be alive to what we are talking, what we are discussing today, so that they have a clear appreciation and both the vacancies and briefing, NGOs, an appreciation of that. So let's have a multi-stakeholder, a platform. They're saying, what's going on there? If you want a legislative on that, then it will come. Because it doesn't take it organized, it tackles the direction which you want to take.
Yeah, I totally agree. Conversations of devolution have actually been existing in respective silos. People have sort of like been thinking in straight lines around how does devolution affect us from a local government perspective, from an education perspective. But if we've been to a space where we say, okay, what is the relationship between the implications to local government versus health, versus finance, as my son has been raising, and things like that. I think from an action point, then the idea of having a multi-stakeholder, inclusive engagement on these issues, it starts to create a more holistic framework really around how this can move forward. Because then, Honorable, what you're mentioning about issues of interest, because then we now have diverse interests on the table. And we think, okay, what does this mean from a rural perspective? What does this mean from a peri-urban perspective? What does it mean from a budgeting perspective? And I think this is an important action point. Honorable Chukwu, can I give you an opportunity?
Yes, I get it. He took words from my mouth. What I wanted just to say is, this was having a meeting, it's like, because as much as we can talk about Kenya, as much as we can talk about, I believe in our own devolution. Kenya, yes, we go and get their ideas. Why I say so? The laws, I think that is the constitution. We can't say when we want it our way. We want one language in civil society. When it's in constitution, when it doesn't suit us, we say we can do it. We can't do that. So I believe that yedu mutemo muno unoti tisaitaita mutemo kuenda kuvanhu. Izvo zvazvichinjwe. Vanhu vati kudii tozoya togara. Atitange isusu semaparliamentarians kugara kuti akuita mutemo wedu. Kana wakamboita wakadara sitikutaura isusu sekomiti sekutaura kwangu achita. Isusu kana pari panyaya devolution, because yakatotanga. What I'm saying, it's not like tukutanga. We can start to know tinovhunza kuita mutemo kana tinawo, but ini since nakatanga sandaona pane wakambotanga sauna kubudirira parliament. Kazhinji hazvibudiriri. Saka iyo yekuti totanga taenda kuvanhu zviri important izvozvo, and toita kuti tishande like all my colleagues have said, and toita is like an indaba iri yemunhu abva kuruzeva, and in that one tichitora vanhu kuti kwete kutora munhu kuti uyu ndepolitics kana ndechi amwe ambuya vari kunyamaroko ngavauye umwe ari kuinsiza ngaauye ambotaurawo pfungwa dzake dzaanofunga nekuti kana mukaudza machief ane zvaanofungawo vanobvunza wane wamirira but let's get somebody. I think zvinobatsira izvozvo but we cannot stop uyezve kudevolution iitwe. My own perception ndeyekuti iri kungoitwa ngaichita chinhu chese achitange chiri 100%, but ukamira uchite perfect you will never have it. Let's have it done. I pray why vamwe vazhinji vari kuti nei local government minister ari kuita. You have to have a leader in everything. Nekuti local government local authorities ese under local government, under local authority mune health, mune finance, mune transport, mune everything. So he is the leader, the spearhead. But vese vanhu tichita chinhu chimwe chete.
Absolutely. So we continue having the same sense around a multi-stakeholder engagement. We have a lead ministry on issues related to devolution, but we are also saying the conversations have to broaden up. They have to engage local communities, multiple stakeholders, civil society beyond just within the main capitals, within the main cities, to also take community-based organizations. Mutemo wakanaka anditika. But if we do not have consensus on kwatuda kuenda kwacho, the law should not be used as a weapon of war. It's great to have a good piece of legislation. I see over the issues that we're trying to achieve, and I think this is also the point that the chairperson is trying to bring across. We still have all these other constituencies, and that we represent, that we work with. Let's bring everybody on board in these discussions. Honorable, I'll come to you, and then Mkoma Precious Ndozo Paimkan.
Okay, thank you, MC. I want to thank my organization at HRT this briefing, and I suppose you know HRT on the same wavelength. But ndoda kuti ndingotanga nchitaura nchitoti ma-CSOs basa rawo rimwe ndiri kubatsira hurumende panenge yatadza, rimwe basa ndiri kuva voice of the voiceless, my-watchdog. Saka ndoda kuti fara tiri nhasi and even petition yamakaita, because but nchiti muri kupi nguva yese sezvo murime muchiri kufanira kuonawo futi kutoti zvinhu zviri kutedzerwa mafambiro zvofanira kuitika in the country. Like ipapa pakutoti tine issue yedevolution yatinayo, but takaiwana rini, takaiwana with the supreme law of the country, constitution, number 20 Act of 2013, and we are in 2019. At SATI is to say parliament align our laws with this thing, but civil society ribasareni, where were you? I'm trying to say you are not doing your party. Saka also did that in Asim, my Kwansakunge Muripan goes Basari Fonanga Chita Nachi answer for Kunomangambo about the role of civil society. Majechi Rana, I see go to repose about Kubat Kids, says that Triguita Panapa, even by advocates against civil society, Inofana one watching Ipapo. Then I want to agree again in a presentation at one na Mkoma Shumba. But pambachona nchidita disagree, but tikatasa futi vine pavati tofana kuamenda the constitution pambozo anzwa na chair wangu tofana kuamenda the constitution, because if you look at the constitution tikashasa section 268 and 269 under chapter 14 inenge chitaura iyo nenye kudoti even my legislators they are part and parcel of provincial and metropolitan councils, but ukazoenda ku section 299 oversight parliament again MPs ndo vanenge kufanira kunoona kuti zviri kufamba zvakanaka here. Kana ndakaenda kuti who guard the guard, kana ndiri MP ndiri momo mukati ndiri kuita zvakati, then again ndindozonzi ndofanira kuita oversight over kushanda kwemari dzacho nechitsvinda zvakadai. Saka pepa ifanira kuva nema-amendment anenge aifanira kuitwa pamanhangire pamasections aya, because panenge achiita se achikanshana, hence ndati ndokuirana navo, because pamwe pachona zvinocontradicta. Saka not running away from the fact ataurwa nahonorable from Berengwa, because we should look at the political environment. Fambira nenga chita nenyaya power. Because my MPs, they will feel like power regular visa rainda kuma councillors, because if you take this to my local authorities, vanofara nazo state at least kune zvavako zvinda zvakadaro. My MPs tetine muonero, but zvazve zvakungoda manje zvakuda kutoti
tigare pasi katakugadzira, because this constitution is nema-acts atinounza haasi the current nhangire chete tiripo, but tichita sachina mberi. Zvino zvakuda kuti manje patinogara tese pasi with the help of even civil society organization nevamwe vakasiyana-siyana, kuti tibude nechinhu chatinoti this is for Zimbabwe, hachisi chekuti ndiche madzishe, ndiche MDC, ndiche ZANU-PF, but chechichi chiri chenyika. So those are some of the things vanachitino ipapa zvinotofana kuzviongorora. And I agree again with the honorable from Kadoma vativo, if we say ma MPs ngavabve mu this arrangement, then even vai vakapinda vari muparliament vanofanira kunge vachita se vachibva, then do agree again with angachiswa mascenario ekuti let's look at other kugara nakaona dzevamwe. If you look, and we should be happy that for the first time in our history kutoti tine local government in the constitution tatisina yangoranwa nema-acts, but zvino yava muconstitution yava clear, and isu zvatofana kuita South Africa neZimbabwe there's no much different mukatasa, but vari kuzvigona sei, then tichidzidza from ma-countries kuti tizonobuda nekuti taakuinda nekupi seZimbabwe. But you should not take more than 5 years kuti tiri some of the things. Imwe yachona inenge yava party yedu as parliament because hatisi kualana things. Imwe futi blame yenyu CSOs because we have agreed kuti basa renyu rekuisa pressure kune vateta vata because ma check and balance zvinongoitika even kana CSOs opposition nechizve zvinhu zvinongofamba zvekutoti kuti vanhu vagare vakamuka vaite goba izve zvawirwana munyika. So those are ndingofungiza kuti tinotofanira kutoti dei zvaitobvira kuti tive even nemamwe stakeholders kana even ma-funding partners vanenge vachibatisana this committee local government kuti ikwanise even kuinda kune dzimwe nyika ichinostarta kuti vakazvigona sei zvichizobatsirana ne-executive yedu zvinhu zvedu zvifambe zvakanaka, because this thing yokuti toita 5 years then we have a meeting yamunoshedza mutaura zve-devolution, then you call a provincial affairs minister, you are going against the spirit of devolution. Because that provincial affairs minister executive yauya pasapa it's recentralization. Iyo nyaya pana amboti pane political will, hapana political will. If the political will angaripo tatisa tutoa makore akawanda takangogara tisina zvatiri kuita. Yes, of course we can tokwanisa kuwanda nenyaya kuti the economic environment inokwanisa kuti affect tisa implement some of these things, but tinoona also kuti pane kurarawo kwatinoita, then ma-CSOs pane pamwe panozokunya konzenda napo pepa siripo. So tofana kuti tirambe chita ma-meetings akadai, ma-arrangements akadai kuti tionesane kuti at the end of the day tibude nechinhu chinonzi ndiche team Zimbabwe for all Zimbabweans. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Mkoma Precious again chupai mukana. Tikunzi tine chungota hope apo neapo nai. I liked the questions angachibunza my MPs kuti ndiyaga yatsikirwa kuna honorable kuti now it's 5 years andika pana ma timelines angakapiwa mu petition. Angaripo, what has gone on, these deadlines, what's been going on, the role of civil society in terms of keeping various arms of government accountable on critical timelines regarding devolution, because it's 5 years, to be very honest. If we start planning now, and we've had the discussions, remember, so what does this all mean? Let's try to put this all into perspective. Tie up our meeting so that you respond to the issues, but also from some of the comments from the committee.
Thank you very much. The process that we have taken as the Harare Residents Trust and CCDZ in partnership with the other civil society organizations is that we want to initiate a sustained conversation on devolution until it is legislated. We had hoped that the government would implement the constitution in total, and this could have happened in 2013. By end of 2013, we shouldn't be talking about what it would look like, because there was a campaign, there was a constitutional process, and the citizens said, yes, we want devolution to be in the constitution. The expectation was we trust our government to implement the letter and spirit of the constitution. But this did not happen. When it did not happen, the question that came next was, is it that they do not want, they are unwilling, or they are just thinking of the time when they can implement it? And so we started a conversation. We are conversing with the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Local Government. As I mentioned, we identified key stakeholders. In the first process, we did a petition on the agency and understanding that the Constitution is specific in Chapter 14. It's specific that Zimbabwe must have a devolved state, isn't it? So, it was on that basis that we started with the petition to say, government, you committed to having this. The president signed the Constitution and it was supposed to be implemented. That was number one. Number two, we realized that what you raised, honorable members of parliament, we have encountered the politics of lawmaking in Zimbabwe. We have held meetings with the previous ministers, with the permanent secretaries, where we have been told that, okay, this thing that you want to move, it was initiated by the MDC. The devolution was not a sandpaper agenda. So you can't really push us to implement their agenda. If they want, they must have the numbers in parliament. That's what we have engaged people. But then it was during his tenure as the deputy minister, and there was a minister, that we started having a productive now process. Honorable Christopher Chingosho was very much forthcoming, in fact facilitating meetings without us asking them to facilitate the meetings. That is what a responsible government must do, and that is what we expect. So we were very pleased when he was in that position, and we were engaging a civil society, and he was coming to our meetings, and we now felt we can now move forward. Sadly, you see, the changes that continue to take place affect the processes. You have started building a relationship with this minister or with this team. The next time they are removed. Honorable Irene Zindi was a very, very forthcoming. You would invite here anywhere. We would meet different stakeholders. The Parliamentary Portfolio Committee was the remaining factor that remained there. We invited different stakeholders. The Association of Rural District Councils, UCAS, we have engaged those people. We have consistent conversations with those people. But this meeting has primarily been convened for the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Local Government to have a conversation with civil society led by Harare Residents Trust and the CCDZ. The idea is not necessarily to say this is exhaustive. The conversations continue, and we appreciate the concerns that have been raised by Honorable Chidakwa and Honorable Raidza. We really appreciate those concerns. But what we would appreciate more, we are not really keen on our representatives in Parliament going there and thinking that their positions now entitle them to deny the citizens their space in the Constitution. Because the Constitution says devolution must be implemented. So when it is implemented, it's not a favor that you are going to execute this. You are doing your national duty in terms of the Constitution. So it must not be like, Honorable Machingauta, kuti we implement the Constitution. It must not be a negotiable document. Tinofana kuti kutoti zvamaka implementa sema parliamentarians. Tati chifunga kuti apa pamakazoisa awa. In fact, izvezvi tinofana kuti kutaura with the devolution bill kana kuti act handiri tiri kutoti iyi ndo yamakaimplementa, but isusu we are thinking that on this aspect paaccountability pari kukanganisika apa pari kukanganisika apa, then we can have progress. But as it stands, we are still at the time in May 2013 when the constitution was gazetted. So what does it mean? It means nothing has moved. Yes, the people voted to have a constitution. We have started conversations with the different ministers, but the ministers have also changed. Now we are starting a new conversation with the Minister Moyo, July Moyo. And we are now talking na Pemasegi, George Magoshongwe. He has been very, very forthcoming, talking to us, revealing the processes. But where is the politics? That's where now we hear you. What you are saying, you are reflecting the behind the scenes politics of devolution. So we want to thank you for being here, because this is not the end. More conversations will still come, and we are going to continue talking. And the constitution now, we are going to say, when they were the members of the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee, they took devolution from this space to this place. But we are not going to really say, if you don't want to move it, when your time to leave Parliament comes, other new MPs would still come, and the civil society would still be pushing to say the constitution must be what? Implemented. And that is our call, to say the constitution should not be a negotiated document. We must be hearing Parliament giving us an outline of drafts, the ministry bringing drafts to Parliament, and the parliamentarians holding the ministers accountable. Because imimi munonge muchimhanya minister anenge ari kutenderera izvo zvari kuita zvecyclone idai ndizvo, but imimi vanhu vekwenyu vari kunetswa kulocal authority vari kundobhadhara but havasi kuwana maservices. And we would expect a responsible member of parliament or senator to be speaking on behalf of those people. So when you are in a platform where civil society has facilitated this conversation, we would feel that you would be very happy that we are creating a platform where your issues can be discussed outside parliamentary regulations, where you can actually begin to tap into some of the knowledge that we have. We have academics, we have civil society. Then you are now saying, Honorable Chidagwa, iwewe Shumba, you are a social researcher. Iwewe uri chakati. Tikuda kubatsirwa kuti muti researchere chakati, because ku ministry taka request nguwa yakati. They have not brought it. We can do it. We can partner you in also fundraising for your outreaches. But if you then say we are the politicians, you will still come to us. Then we would think that, is that not pride? Where you think that because we are not sitting in your position, we would have to beg you. That is not the idea. We should not beg. We should be saying, Parliament, we have the resources. We want to help you.
Yeah.
Madam, let's negotiate a schedule where you go around the country. What is it that you want?
Yeah.
We then talk about it.
I think the points have really been made, and it gets me to a place which is that's only about 5 to 10 minutes before we close this meeting. So I'm already beginning to sense Shumba Muchitaura around. Could we give the honorable members an opportunity now to say what sort of support mechanism they want from civil society in terms of taking issues of devolution forward as a committee or as parliamentarians or in within parliament or back to constituencies, and just to be able to appreciate what would the committee specifically want supporting. Is there need for data here? Do we want more research here from our researchers? Do we want more community-based platforms? I don't know. I am not a parliamentarian yet, but I am thinking there could be things that our honorable members feel civil society, community-based organizations, faith-based organizations could support them in their role. And this is, kuti we are walking in the same pathway. And kuti to achieve this huge monster called devolution that we're talking about, we need to be in sync, we need to be supporting each other, we need to be complementary to the respective efforts that we take. And so let me give this opportunity over, say, the next 5 minutes to our honorable members to say, what could be those specific things that you feel civil society, church-based organizations, community-based organizations, researchers, scholars could support yourselves in terms of taking this agenda forward? Over back to you then. I want Secretariat to assist us there in taking very quick notes around this. Honorable.
Yes, I think first of all, we should thank you for initiating this debate. And I'm sure points have been made. And maybe that is the reason why we are meeting. That your suggestions have been made that as parliamentarians who represent people, we would like such platforms to be all inclusive. And I'm sure that point has been taken. And also, it has been pointed out that a half-day workshop like this is okay because it's the beginning.
Yeah.
It will not be enough. It's not enough. We would recommend that such workshops should continue. And this time now, because of this recommendation, we should have a little bit of more time of discussion.
Thank you very much, Honorable. This is practical. This is very actionable. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Comrade Schumer, sorry, Mr. Schumer.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
I'm a comrade. You are
in not my comrade one.
Yeah, okay.
Comrade Schumer. Comrade Schumer.
Yes, ma'am.
What we need, as the chairperson has said, we need buy-in from Wanarumusha, Wanarukuata, Wanaruku. Chendambuya. What's the look Uchuru farm.
Yeah.
Right? We need to go and Uchuru farm to chief. So what we want from you is organize funding for us to go and meet those people countrywide, consult them, consolidate their recommendations, and then we can move it forward.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's practical. I like that. Over to you, Honorable.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentations and the insightful discussions. One of the key things that would be necessary is to robustly react when the bill is come to Parliament.
Yeah.
We would want to have an analysis from the CSO perspective as to what you feel are the issues that are either not highlighted or the gaps. And I would also add that the academics should come in and look at the bill quickly and say what are the models that are there and what are the lessons that we should learn from those models, and then infuse our own homegrown perspective. But the funding that we would need is in terms of saying once there is that robust analysis, which is quick, fast, we would need to have a conversation with the committee so that we then can combine that perspective as we go forward in terms of public consultations.
Yeah, thank you. This is important. Remember, Honorable Chukwa said the same thing. When we have a draft out, be in those spaces. Let's talk about Kanachabuda. Let's have critical analysis. Let's have alternative views. That adds to the discussion. Thank you for that, Honorable.
Thank you very much. To clarify one issue.
Yeah.
Parliamentarians, we are not there to get off it about. We know our responsibilities, but in the same vein, to not balance some interests.
Yeah.
So if I might not support your interest, it doesn't mean that I'm not knowing what I am doing in Parliament. That's the first point. So my suggestion is that, and I will continue to remain, steadfast on that, that we need to consult as widely as possible. Yes. As it was already presented, that there devolution doesn't have one definition. It's having many. That's why we are saying everybody must be consulted. Yeah. Everybody must be consulted because we have different definitions. But at the end of the day, we must converge and come up with the Zimbabwean devolution that we will be proud of all together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think this still remains important. If you remember from the first presentation around context, appreciating devolution is about all these other interests as well. We've got the political, we've got the idealistic, we've got all sorts of, a whole range of interests. So it is pragmatically also about balancing. And also our honorable members of parliament have been quite honest, really, to be able to say, okay, that we need to be able to balance out all the ideals, and if we're going to be operationalizing this, we need to be practical even about the interests. And the research paper also showed exactly the same. Honorable.
Mr. Shumba, the presentation now. Zvandaidautaura zvinhu zvataurwa vachangoemphasize pataurwa nyaya yekuti ngatipote tichienda kunzvimbo dzakaita kumaruzevha kumafarms kuchi tobvisa kaelement kekuti zvinhu zvakawanda zvinoitwa kuharare mukaisasa devolution yachiri kunyanyokanganisa kumamisha kuma-growth point kuti munhu kana aida kutora chitupa rotodzoserwa kuharare kana kuti mamwe madocuments otodzoserwa kuharare saka tikaenda ikoko tikanyatsodzwa vanhu paground zvine zvakanaka uye ndatida kuemphasize kuti panzi ma-MPs nechichi vanofanira kunge vasiri imomo metropolitan councils aya and MP haafanira kunyengedzidzwa zvake kuti akabva ava excluded haazonyatsoshanda zvaanofanira kuita saka ndofunga government haifanira kuva ichiremerwa zvayo but since vagara vatori vashandi vagara vatoripo vagara vatori maleaders agara atori nebudget kuti vagara vatongotambiriswa atinge ngavashandi imomo torega kuwanza torega kusoita duplication yekuti minister mayor oita chairperson pana minister mamabasa ngasirwa vafanira kwaita torega kuremedza government
ndikuona pachaita kukosha kwekungoita hurukuro just on this conflict of laws handiti ipapa panenge kusadyidzana on various provisions, but there are realistic issues to be dealt with there. There are also very practical difficulties in terms of separation of powers. So, just in the same spirit, the conversations have to go forward. Because no nuts and bolts actually. And this is Honorable Michael Kwamuti.
Sorry, my first.
Okay. Sure, over to you, Honorable.
Chair, I just wanted to bring to the attention my first question, which was what has happened since they presented this to Parliament and the deadline? Nothing's happened in that time.
Yeah.
Now, when the original consultation took place for the Constitution, COPAC, there was very good negotiations right throughout the country over an extended period of time, and devolution came out of those negotiations. So any negotiation we have to do now or reach out programs must just be to confirm that. We can't carry on, otherwise what I'm getting at is we've got a timeline. We're already 4 months into this budget, and we're not even going to be in a position to spend any money allocated. And we can't carry on like that. My second issue is we still get back to the original problem of the oversight role. Parliamentarians remain in the provincial councils. I have no problem with that. Who's going to oversee it? Who? The auditor cannot audit himself. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so we resolve the issue that the parliamentarians, the Senate, whatever, the chiefs stay in there, no problem. Who's going to oversee that council? And my last suggestion is, on the money that's being issued, it must be clear what is for delivery, for services, and what is for the setting up of the council.
Okay. I think this is fantastic. Honorable, it links back to your concerns the other time. Who's going to guard the guards? So I think we need to have this discussion as part of the conversations. And I like the idea also, what you're putting across to say, these discussions are not new. So it's a build-up on conversations that have been there. So we also shouldn't be too bogged down, really. You know? Yes.
I just wanted to say, okay, when we did the petition and set the timelines, then Parliament called us to appear before the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee. And we went there, we repeated the same submissions. And then that's when these other changes then took place. At that time, there were other people in charge of the ministry, and including Harare. And after that, we have now had this meeting.
So what do you suggest? Do you want to have a rerun of that process again, or what are you saying from an action point perspective then?
I think that from what has come here,
yeah,
there are things that we might want to revisit.
Yeah.
For example, the participation of House of Assembly members, the issues that have been raised about the Senate being involved.
Yeah.
And maybe the contradiction of having the chiefs in there, because I think they highlighted a very important point that the senators, the chiefs, become part of the legislation. So it would be like divisive on our part to insist on that point, which I think the presence of the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee now creates maybe a platform that we should be able to discuss HRT and CCDZ to facilitate probably a meeting again between the organizations and the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee to now find out if they can now summon the minister or the permanent secretary to come to Parliament to explain why they have not brought a devolution bill, so that the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee begins this process now. Because it would seem that the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee is geared to have this conversation, but the ministry, they have held devolution conferences in the provinces. And you are aware that most of the conferences have been facilitated by CSOs. Yet in terms of process, this must be government funding the implementation of what? Devolution. So as we try this, let's have this again, but let's not get back to that process. Let's have Parliament Portfolio Committee on Local Government
build up from there,
summoning the minister or the permanent secretary to come and explain, to say why he has not brought the devolution bill to Parliament, because it's now nearly 6 years.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you very much. While we're getting CCDZ chairperson to help us with the closing remarks, Dadaku Tilichingotora is Nyumwisha and you got 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Tobata close and I'm thinking fun to get there. So, Honorable, I'll come to Dave, I'll also come to now, Koma Pesi, Kometan, Tobata Petzerai Pap, and then Lupa Mkana chair whatever. So let's move like that. I'll start with Diana.
Okay, thank you very much for all the presentation. My worry is on the dragging by the Ministry of Local Government. As civil society, what are we going to do? Because we are here and we have concluded that we should start doing practical on the ground. But if they continue to drag, what is our way forward on the ministry?
Okay, so does this link also with Precious' concern to say the portfolio committee could support civil society's efforts so far by summoning the ministry to the committee to update on what has been going on, where is the bill? So this is a clear critical action point, yeah?
Yes.
Great. Dave?
Right. I just want to give an analogy.
In a
word of caution, When you are aiming at a bird and you want to shoot a bird, you don't aim directly. You look at its flight trajectory and you aim a little ahead. Zimbabwe, I've seen the tendency to want to jump into things and rush, and they keep missing. And 10 years goes by. So if we focus on a good structured process, that's like looking at the trajectory, then aiming better. You are likely to kumanya and kusika. You are likely to hit your bed quicker.
Okay. So how do we hit the devolution bread? I need to hear the practical.
I want to strengthen what the MPs have been saying. And just separate two issues.
Yeah.
There is consultation focused on the bill. Okay. That should be just focused on the bill. That can happen quickly as long as government is instituting that process. But within that bill, we also want to say, Kuti, Minister, makonsulta vanhu here ne process yamukuda kuimplement. That's another issue now. Ndo iri kuda new consultations ekuti what kind of process ndo inozotibudisira ma-mechanisms ekuti devolution yatiri kuda ive nema-timelines because pane munhu watakuvhunza kuti wava papi.
Yeah, so we are in agreement really around issues related to process. Kuti once we bill at tikanzwa accountability yekuti rapapi bill iroro, as the process goes on, we are speaking then on collaborating, on engaging, particularly with regards to the bill, because this will assist us in terms of creating the legal framework that we need to be able to institutionalize or to operationalize devolution. So tukuvumelana on the need to continue collaborating on this, calling the ministry, the lead ministry to account, and then can build our way to say.
I'm saying let's be in the bill. Let's talk about the actual process of devolution.
Yes.
Iri consultative, iri inclusive, iri kutaurwa nama MPs.
So we are in
we can't miss that point. If we miss that point,
through me, just hold on, please. I am the chair.
Sorry.
Very quickly,
Thank you very much. I just wanted to say the route through the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee is what we have adopted. That is why we are saying, as an action point going forward, the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee has the power to invite the minister, because devolution was supposed to be implemented in 2013 or 2014. They have a right to say, Madam Chair, you want the minister, the PEMSEC, can you update us? Where are you? The constitution was adopted in May 2013. Where are we? Then your members can ask questions. Then the nation is informed. That's part
so we're in agreement that the route we should be taking is engagement and letting our portfolio committee take lead in terms of particularly holding the executive to account in terms of process.
Okay, I just want to
say, you are ready to come up.
I just want to say two quick things which might sound contradictory to each other. But I think that I believe we need to be mindful of. Firstly, myself, I am very action-oriented, such that if I was the one driving the devolution process, I would simply say, because the budget is up, because it's resulting in one committee. Kana ndichingoti kana muri muno muHarare endai munosangana mudare renyu mucouncil chamber yemuHarare mototanga kuita chii zvamunoita imomo kana vari vekumaprovinces the same happens. But however, I just want to say I think we still need to do a lot of homework in terms of kunzwisisa zvatoda kuita.
That's right.
Because I will just give you two quick examples. Vamwe vatinoti admire kuti our devolution yavo iri kufamba. South Africa, for example, I've lived for the last 5 years in the city of Cape Town. Mune provincial government ye Western Cape. Mune city of Cape Town. But you'll be surprised with housing in Cape Town is driven by the provincial government. City council haina kana chekuita nehousing. And I'm sure makansa emuna akazviudzwa anotaura kuti munopenga. Because I don't think those are based on their experience.
That's right.
If you go to Zambia, town clerk, town clerk akafanana nema-DA anogona kuchinjwa kuti town clerk weBulawayo tikaona kuti ndiye ari kugona tomuti kwamutare kwakafa ndiwo kwataako kuendesa. But munomuchi, that's not our vision. But this is what happens in Zambia. Anotaenda town clerk iye nema-benefits ake, even mukamuti wakuenda kwamutoko anoenda nema-benefits ake angaina kuBulawayo. Because ndimuri kuda kuti aende ikoko. And it has helped, particularly where there are problems in some cities. But we need to be very clear. Our biggest challenges have been in conferences of this nature 3 times in the past 2 weeks. Vanhu maonera awo edevolution akanyanyisa kusiyana because experience dzedu dzakasiyana. That's what we need before we make my decisions a long term.
So we need to find consensus. Devolution, what does it mean to us in our own experiences? So Kenya did it, why can't we also did it? We need to be clear in terms of our own realities and our own experiences. I think this is a very critical point. I will, at this point, Honorable Chidakwa, and the other Honorable Chidakwa, Topata Peta. Oh, all right.
I'll just make one point.
All right. No, it's fine.
Thank you.
But maybe, Honorable Chidakwa, my first question to you, my point to you would be, your concern was, let's draw up action points in the middle of all these discussions. Do you think we've succeeded in doing that? At least to point out things that we can do from this meeting. Do you think we've been able to do that?
I think we've tried enough.
Okay, great.
And to the question that what do we expect as MPs?
Yeah.
From you guys?
Yeah.
I have a few things. One thing, I say you should remain a research unit for us, a think tank. Because you
Secretariat, I hope you're speaking.
Yes. So that you keep bringing issues to us, and that can keep us alive.
Yeah.
Again, there's need a capacity building in terms of full understanding of that devolution, even from us. But sometimes if you have a capacity, an informative point of view, because I have my understanding, but the same understanding that I have, my chair doesn't have. You see, so there's need of that capacity building before the consultation. So that when we go one, we'll be having full knowledge of what we're acting on. And on your behalf, we memo as a civil society as well. Before time of consultation, people out there they are blackout in terms of that devolution, the definition, or what is devolution. They are blackout because they are always are left out. And especially when they are also left out. And sometimes if they are included, the documents are coming in English. You know, imagine to the deep, not only Kumusha, but from my perspective, but in my vocal, in the one of they will not understand language. We need to simplify it and have the reps into vernacular language so that people understand. One full understanding.
Absolutely.
That is.
Thank you very much. Okay, Honorable, you'll be the last person, so you have the honor. Thank you very
much. I'm still very sober. I just wanted to answer to Nkoma Shumba.
Yes, sir.
Us as portfolio committee or as parliamentarians, as only
exactly.
We don't want.
Yeah.
We are fully committed to devolution the way you are, even worse, better than you guys. We just want things done properly.
That's right.
Something important.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line here.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
We fully understand devolution, but we don't want devolution which is going to cause conflict in our country.
That's right.
Yeah. We have got a very polarized society. Like people will take advantage of it and open all wounds. Yeah. Let's just do our things properly. No problem. It's our job. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Right? We are ready. You support us, we will do our part. We just want to do our job for the sake of our country. Period.
Yeah, that's a powerful way of computing. Yeah, I think it speaks to both process that David has been concerned about. It also speaks to the spirit itself that Chairperson Chikupa had also spoken to. So it's not petera meeting yetu zvakanaka and chiri tendera at this point ndipo pamatom kuna CCDZ chair vamudzengi Closing remarks. Thank you, sir.
Okay. I don't have much to say. Safe to say that I would want to thank all of us for coming here. Let me especially thank the Portfolio Committee for taking time out of their very busy schedules to be with us here. We are not a very big organization and so on and so forth, but we have realized, I think, the importance of what we are trying to do. So thank you for being here. That is the Portfolio Committee, members of Parliament who are here. That is from that committee. Let me also thank fellow civic organizations that have also come here so that we could discuss about this particular issue of devolution. From my observation, I think this is very much of a topical issue. In fact, this is not my first time to sit in a debate pertaining to devolution. The last one, before this one, I think I was in Lupane. Was it Lupane? Yeah, it became heated. In fact, I went to Banda, I went to Lupane, I went to Mutoko, discussing similar issues. These are heated debates, and when you go to Lupane, people there are saying, no, you guys in Harare, you are grabbing everything, and so on and so on. Those are the discussions, and I think they also resonate with what the Honorable was saying, the issue of need for inclusion. Then I think before we go anywhere, I think Comrade Shumba, you are taking note of this. Yeah. And there is a need for consensus with respect to what really is devolution. Because devolution may end up being a devolution of centralization. You know, it can happen. And that must be avoided. Devolution means not to be in name, but it must be in practice. Yeah. That's what we think from the CCDZ point of view, and also from the Harare Residents Trust perspective. I think when we meet with the Harare Residents Trust, I know Chitrest is also here. We also have other residents associations and other civic organizations. To us, devolution must mean that people at a local level must be able to make decisions on issues that affect their day-to-day survival. It's not about people at the top then sending messages to people on how they can live. It's not about people at the top telling people on the ground that they are hungry, when they themselves cannot tell that they are hungry. It's not about people at the top telling people on the ground that you are not thinking, let us help you to think. It's about people on the ground actually saying that our way of thinking is this, what we see is this, let us discuss this. I think that's the issue. Then also I think one pertinent issue pertaining to devolution, I think the main one is about economic resources. People are worried that in some areas, natural resources are being extracted, but they are not benefiting from them. You know, I've gone to certain areas where precious minerals are being extracted or have been extracted to the point of extinction, but you don't even have a road leading to the mine. When you see the road is a very poor one, or there is none, and there are no other services. So these are some of the issues that have to be discussed. The issue of devolution is a developmental issue. It's about resources, it's about what Marshall McLuhan once said, who gets what, where, and how. That's the issue. So devolution is politics. We cannot run away from politics when we talk devolution. So, in other words, what we are simply saying is that we need democracy. And democracy should not be in name, but it should be in practice. And when democracy is in practice, it's about everyone mattering. No, the other guy was talking about ethics of human consideration. People out there should be considered, not simply because they are voters, but they should be considered because they are human.
Yeah.
So when we talk of devolution, we should leave this culture of looking at other people as mere voters. Let's look at them as citizens. And when we look at them as citizens, we are looking at people with rights. And these rights include the right of self-determination. And when we talk of self-determination, we are talking devolution. So I think this is the understanding that we share, and I think we need to discuss this so that we come to a common understanding. So I think moving on from here, I think our major task is to reconvene people and discuss what exactly should be devolution. You know, it's there in the Constitution, but you know, constitutions are the major industries in every part of the world. You go to the United States, for example, they still argue on what is in their constitution. And yet that constitution is as old as what? You know, when you talk of lawyers, lawyers basically make money from the constitution. It's an industry. So constitutions, you know, they are difficult. So people maybe need to sit and discuss. Maybe people are said to have been consulted when the constitution was written. We want to hear what they say, what they think devolution is all about. So it's about going back to the people and understanding what the people want. Then we come up with something. I think that is the way forward, Comrade Shumba. Let's go back to the residents. Let's go back to Mberengwa and hear what people are saying, so that we reach a common understanding. We need probably not to be tied to a particular constitution. People can still change it. It's theirs. In any case, the constitution allows itself to be changed. Or for that matter, it actually allows itself to be suspended. Constitutions have been suspended and new issues have emerged. So thank you for coming. Let's move forward to go to the people. I thank you.
All right, so we've come to the end of this meeting, and based on the discussions that we've been having so far, and the commitment that have also just come in from the room, this will not be the last that we will have this kind of discussion. We need to keep these conversations going on. And so at this particular point in time, I'm sure there'll be lunch. Yeah, so we'll be breaking our meeting. Let's keep the discussions going. Let's enjoy the rest of our day. Do not end.